Hello and welcome back to the KenOhWee Channel, and welcome to another comparison video. And for today's episode, I'll be featuring two amazing Spider-Man figures from two amazing action figure companies and compare them side by side. If you're on a budget and you're having a difficult time choosing between the two, then I hope this video is for you. Don't worry, I understand your struggle. It's every collector's dilemma, and if I was in your position, I'll be pulling my hair out. Which is why I got these two figures, which burn a big hole in my wallet. But if it helps any of you out, then it was all worth it. So without further ado, it's time to put our nitpicky hat and let's do this. Likeness. Due to the fact S.H uses interchangeable eyes instead of heads, the eyes are a little popped up, probably due to the indent of the eye holes, and the eyes are shaped a little sharper at the bottom, which makes it look more like the comic version of Spider-Man instead of the movie version, whereas Mafex Spider-Man eyes seems more flush to the face, and he has a more accurate curve on his eyes. And although both faces captured certain elements of Spider-Man's face in terms of design, it isn't 100% accurate to what's depicted in the movie, and I'm talking about the base eyes. So I have to give this one a tie. However, looking through plenty of pictures of the movie Spider-Man eyes, there is actually no right answer to what is the perfect base Spidey eyes, as they all have various sizes through different clips in the movie, which is why to some, these eyes are accurate and to others, it may not. And it all just comes down to personal preference. Figure design. Standing side by side, S.H has a more shinier look, and the blues on S.H is slightly darker than Mafex. The blue stripes on his pants is also more prominent in S.H compared to Mafex. It's pushed out and colored slightly darker blue, whereas the Mafex lines are engraved. S.H design choices. As I highlighted earlier, S.H decided to opt for interchangeable heads, which resulted in the eye popping out look in certain angles. At the back of the Spidey logo design, you can remove the centerpiece to pack a special stand into it, which helps hide the stand in certain angles, but it affects the look of the logo at the back. Also, not to mention, there's a high possibility of losing such accessories if you don't keep it at a safe place. S.H also decided to remove the bicep cut, which then relies heavily on the arm for swivels, hence the arm joint being exposed in certain poses, but you can conceal it by turning the arm inwards. And to allow more leg movement, S.H has opted for more cuts in the hip section, which results in the S.H Spider-Man looking like he's wearing a thong. Let me see that thong, Mafex design choices. To allow more ab crunching, Mafex Spidey ends up having a big hole when you arch or crunch too far, and also having the soft rubber material which helps the leg movement, but the question is longevity if I keep doing high kicks, as it already started to leave indents, which really concerns me. You'd have to constantly push it out to make sure it doesn't remain pushed in, which can be a hassle, especially if you happen to forget to pose back your Spidey figure. Even though both made design choices which affects the look of the figure in certain ways, as a collector who favors easy posing and high level of articulation, I'd have to agree with the design choices made by Mafex. The bicep cut really helps in posing the figure easier, as well as allows more pose options in comparison with the arm swivel by S.H. Proportion. Starting from the head, Mafex Spidey head looks much longer and flatter chest, less trap muscles, which makes Mafex Spidey look like he's having a square or rigid frame build. They both have six packs. Mafex has a much flatter booty. S.H should really thank all those cuts which help highlight the bump on his booty. And Mafex Spidey does not have calves at all. His legs are just too skinny. It's hard to believe how his legs could ever support the weight of his body. The only body part Mafex got better than S.H is actually the arms. As you can see, Mafex has bigger biceps and triceps, and S.H doesn't have any.
They'll never be able to hammer curl 110-pound dumbbells!
Overall, S.H has a more accurate human proportion, aside from his skinny arms. Mafex Spidey's got the guns. S.H got everything else.
Swell is the goal, size is the prize!
Sturdiness. Mafex have been infamous for having really loose joints on their figures, and sometimes it can be a bit of a gamble. Some figures can be solid tight while others can come loose fresh out of the package, but they have definitely improved a lot on their quality control on this figure, which I hope they could maintain for future figures as well. As mentioned earlier, I am however concerned about the soft plastic material on his crotch, but only time will tell. S.H figures on the other hand have always been known for their great build quality, and this figure is no exception. Everything looks and feels solid, and comparing their sturdiness, Mafex seems to require more positioning for it to be able to stand properly, and still looks like it's about to fall with the slightest push compared to S.H. Attention to detail. When it comes to paint application, S.H have always been amazing, but Mafex is not far behind. The Mafex figure does have a few smudges in places, but it doesn't affect the overall look of the figure, but S.H has gone as far as to paint meticulously over his web clips on his belt, whereas Mafex just has a line of black over and the tip of the cartridge is completely missed out, but you could hardly notice it. However, Mafex did go the extra mile and paint the details on his web shooters, while S.H missed that part. So both figures did do a little bit extra, so it's a tie. The webbing for Mafex is engraved while S.H seems to be painted on, or if it's engraved, it's not as obvious as the Mafex one. There's texture throughout the figure on both figures, but S.H texture is more obvious and is all around the figure, while the Mafex one changes texture on the red, which doesn't seem obvious, and it makes the texture on the blue stand out a little more. And if I were to compare with the movie version, you can see there's more visible patterns on the blue, and the red's pattern is barely visible, but it is there. Also, another thing to point out, which was highlighted by a viewer, the webbing detail was absent on the S.H hands but not on the Mafex figure. How could you miss that, S.H? Maybe they wanted to maintain their paint quality, as painting the webbing on his hand can be a bit messy, but still, Mafex got this one. But I'd like to thank you, Gab Hey, for pointing this out. I really hope I didn't butcher your name. Thank you for your eagle eyes. Articulation. The only difference between the two figures, which I already mentioned earlier, are the bicep cuts, and Mafex have easier arm posing, but the S.H have easier leg posing. So instead of talking about their articulation again, I like to put them through a series of challenges. So presenting to you the Cheerleaders Challenge. Let's go! Look up to the stars. I'm a little teapot. The face slap. The back scratcher. The mermaid. The crunch. The splits, the crotch killer, the tango, the web crawl, the frog jump, the Wonder Woman logo. As you can see, both are able to pull off crazy poses, so I give this one a tie. Accessories. Since I own the Japan version of the S.H Spider-Man, I do not have the Tamashii option wall set, which is only exclusive to the US release, so I won't be taking that into account. Both figures have 6 additional pairs of hands if you count the magnet hands from Mafex, and they're generally the same except for a few specifically to hold their own respective feature accessory. And in terms of webbing effect, Mafex has one more of each effect compared to S.H. S.H has the long stream effect, whilst Mafex has an open web effect. So let's talk about their featured accessories. Starting with the swappable faces, S.H Figuarts provides interchangeable eyes, so you have the large pupil eyes and the squinty eyes, and also a peg which you use to push the eyes out from the head, which to some it may be a hassle to do so, and there's a risk of losing the eyes, or worse, the peg. And Mafex have 2 interchangeable heads where you have the squinty eyes head, and also everyone's favorite unmasked head accessory. Unfortunately, Mafex didn't deliver in that regard, so it was disappointing. S.H Figuarts provides Peter Parker's school bag, a cell phone which again you'll lose it if you don't keep it safe, a special pack to be packed into the back of the figure, and also to the stand, which they do not provide. Mafex gives you a special pack to be packed to the open web effect, which can be packed to a stand, which Mafex also provides. It comes with an unmasked mask and also a pair of magnetized hands and feet, which you can make your figures stick to fridges. Both packages come with plenty of playable accessories as well as their own featured accessory, which results in another tie. So you have to decide which aspect of the character you want to emulate in your Spider-Man action figure. Price! Without counting the Tamashii option wall set, S.H is slightly cheaper than the Mafex Spider-Man figure, but not by a huge margin, and ultimately they both come with a great figure and plenty amount of playable accessories, so any collector would be getting their money's worth with these packages. But you have to take into consideration if spending a few dollars to get the Tamashii wall option is justified, and it is retailing at $100 with the figure, which is $20 more expensive than the Mafex figure depending on which website you go to. So in summary, I really hope I managed to highlight some important factors that may help in your decision making, and I apologize if I happen to miss any points, but at the end of the day, both of these figures are incredible Spider-Man action figures in their own way. And everyone has their own personal preferences, so whichever you decide to go for, at the end of the day, I'm sure you have a fun time playing that figure. But if I have to choose between these two figures, based on my own personal preference, I'd pick the Mafex Spider-Man figure over the S.H version for my collection. Thank you, I'm fabulous. I know. No photos, please. I'm joking, carry on. That concludes today's episode. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I apologize if it was too long, and if it wasn't as funny, I still hope it was at least informative. If you happen to watch all the way to this portion of the video, I'd like to say thank you very much for staying tuned, and I commend your lasting power. Unfortunately, I need to take a break for the next few weeks as I'll be undergoing a surgery for my ACL on the 15th of November, so I'll be using the break to spend more time with my family and also recover, and I'll try and get back to producing more videos for you guys as soon as I can. I really love making these videos, but I just have to focus on my recovery at this point in time, so I really hope you guys can understand that. I really hope to see you back after my break, and I apologize if I disappointed any one of you. I'd also like to thank each and every one of you for your support, especially for the previous video, which was incredible. You guys are amazing, and I'm really glad I could share my passion, my love for toys and making videos with all of you. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys very much. I hope you guys are embracing your inner Spidey and having a great week, and as always, I'll see you guys soon at the next video.
Click here to enjoy more videos.